Hello all, in this video we are going to see about problems of morbidity indicators in community medicine. So the morbidity indicators can be classified into frequency indicators, duration of the disease indicators and severity of the disease indicators. As we have seen in the previous mortality indicator, we have seen this severity indicator as case fatality rate. It is indicated by the disability rates of the disease. But when it comes to the frequency or the morbidity indicators of the disease, the incidence and prevalence are the two indicators which helps us understand about the frequency of the disease. Now this is a common picture which we use, that is the epidemiologist bathtub. This bathtub has the prevalence of the disease or the cases prevalent in the community. The tap which is opening provides the incidence, that is new cases into the community, and there will be some cases will get recovered and get evaporated out of the tap, and there will be a bottom opening where there will be leakage, where the cases will die and go out of this community. So that is due to the death or mortality. In order to assess the new cases, incidence is a better indicator. This is the rate denoting the new cases, and prevalence is the rate indicating the old and new case. The relationship between incidence and prevalence is equal to incidence into duration. So basically, the duration of the disease become higher, then the prevalence of the disease also increases. So hence, incidence is a good indicator for acute diseases. Prevalence is a better indicator for chronic diseases. Now, among the incidence, we have pure incidence rate, and there are specialized incidence rates called attack rates and secondary attack rate. Before we move on to the attack rate and secondary attack rate, we see what is incidence rate. Incidence rate is given by the formula, the number of new cases due to the disease in the particular time period divided by population at risk during that period into 1000 is the incidence of the disease. So out of the total population, how many new cases are occurring is called as incidence rate. When it comes to the attack rate, number of new cases of a specified disease during a specified time interval divided by total population at risk during that same time interval. So that is expressed in percentage. So the population, out of the population at risk, how many new cases are appearing in a specified time interval is called as attack rate. On the other hand, the secondary attack rate is the number of exposed persons developing the disease within the range of the incubation period is called a secondary attack rate. So the incidence rate is total number of new cases out of the population at risk, and attack rate is within a specified time, and secondary attack rate is number of exposed persons developing the disease within the range of one incubation period is called as secondary attack rate, divided by total number of exposed susceptible contacts. So that is also expressed in percentage. So the multiplication factor will be 100. So if a problem is asked in incidence and prevalence specific to attack rates and secondary attack rates, you have to carefully choose the numerator and denominator. The new cases will be in the numerator in a particular time period among the population at risk during that particular time period. But within a specified time interval, if it is focused, then it is attack rate. On the other hand, the number of exposed person developing the disease within the range of incubation period is called as secondary attack rate. The next important morbidity indicator is the prevalence. We have two types of prevalence, that is point prevalence and period prevalence. So point prevalence means it is the number of current cases, that includes old and new cases of the particular disease existing at a given point of time, divided by total number of estimated population at that same point of time. It is expressed in percentage. On the other hand, period prevalence is number of existing cases, that is old and new, due to the disease during a given time period interval, that is called as period prevalence. Again, we have the estimated mid-year population at risk into 100. So in textbook, there will be a classical example. If suppose in the start of year 2024, January, if we have a particular case and if it is recovered and we have a case which is present here, and if it is December 2024, we have new case developed here, and there is one case that ended before January 24, and cases are like this. Suppose if we ask point prevalence at December 2024, we need to include only these three cases. On the other hand, if we are asked about the period prevalence of 2024, then we need to include these cases, all these cases, but not this case. Or if suppose a case is present outside also, you need not include that. So that is the difference between period prevalence and point prevalence. Now we work out a problem with specialized incidence rate, that is attack rate and secondary attack rate. In the next slide, we will work on the prevalence rates also, that is period prevalence and point prevalence. Here in this question, there are 7 cases of hepatitis A among 70 children attending a child care center. Each infected child came from a different family. The total number of persons in the 7 affected families was 32. Within an incubation period, 5 family members of the 7 infected children also developed hepatitis. Now calculate the attack rate in the child care center and secondary attack rate among the family contacts of those cases. So attack rate is given by the formula the total number of new cases due to the disease in the specified time interval divided by total population at risk, that is expressed in percentage. So we have the total number of new cases are 7 divided by at risk population are 70, and it is expressed in percentage. So it is 10% attack rate. Next we calculate the secondary attack rate, which is given by the formula number of persons exposed to developing the disease within one incubation period. So here they have given 5 family members have developed disease within one incubation period. Out of the 32 minus 7, which means because out of the total 32 members, 7 have already got the disease, so they are not at risk, so that needs to be reduced, multiplied by 100. So 5 divided by 25 into 100, so it will yield 20%. So that is the secondary attack rate is 20%. It indicates the spreading power of the disease. If case fatality rate is the indicator of severity or it indicates the killing power of the disease, this secondary attack rate indicates the spreading power of the disease or infectivity of the disease. So that is calculated by the total number of new cases, population at risk exposed within one incubation period. So that is called a secondary attack rate. It is the indicator of infectivity or the spreading power of the disease. Next, we work out a prevalence problem. During a survey conducted in September-December 2019, 480 cases of diabetes were detected in a town with a total population of 60,000, of which 180 cases were recently diagnosed. So calculate the following incidence rate and prevalence rate. So now incidence means it is the total number of new cases divided by total population into 100. So which means the new cases are 180 divided by total population is 60,000. So it is expressed in, you can express in percentage or you can express in per thousand if the number is very less. So here we can express it as 3 cases 1000 population in the year 2019. So prevalence is given by the total number of old and new cases. Here they have given 480 cases were detected in the town, in which 180. So you need not add these two. So out of 480, 180 is newly detected. So you can add the current existing case as 480 divided by 60,000 into 1000. So it is 8. So it is 8 cases, 1000 population in the year 2019. So that is how you should write the incidence rate and prevalence rate. Here in this example, it is diabetes case. So diabetes is a chronic disease. So the suitable indicator will be prevalence. And when there is an acute disease like infectious diseases, the indicator will be incidence rate. So to sum up, we have seen about the morbidity indicators of the diseases. In frequency, we have different incidence and prevalence rate. Incidence is number of new cases among the population, and prevalence is the current cases which include old and new among the population. The specialized incidence rate are attack rates and secondary attack rates, and the specialized prevalence rate are point prevalence and period prevalence, that is calculated by the formulas, and we should remember the multiplication factors. Hopefully, you have understood about the morbidity indicators, that is incidence and prevalence.